Hello, everyone. Welcome to our pre-arrival session for Fall 2021 students. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's a beautiful day here in Vancouver, and we're super excited to have you today on the session. So today we're going to cover everything you need to know about orientation, our key dates, requirements to register, and then at the end, we're going to host a live question and answer panel. Again, welcome. My name is Carolina. I'm a social media specialist here at Columbia College. And I would like to introduce our student services manager Rose here with us. Rose is going to take you over everything regarding the orientation overview and key dates. Hi, Rose.
Hello, good morning, Carolina. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to walk you through what orientation will look like for you, and then happy to answer any questions you have about our orientation and registration process at the end. So I will kick things off. So a quick overview. So orientation for most students will take place online. Because of the uncertainty around the pandemic still, and because we know many of you may need to delay your travels because of current restrictions, the majority of orientation will be online. If you are in our high school program, our secondary program, there will be an in-person day, but I will go into more detail about that in a moment. So information will be shared with you throughout August. I'm going to go through all of the dates with you so that you know what to look out for when. And then your registration will take place between August 25th and September 3rd, and classes begin on Tuesday, September 7th. And our aim with orientation is to get you ready to begin classes. So we will be getting you familiar with our learning platforms, and we use a learning platform called Moodle, and we will be showing you how that works and going over the other technology that you may be using for your classes, such as Microsoft Teams and Zoom. Orientation also involves getting to know other new students who are in the same situation as you, preparing for your registration, learning about all of the services that we have at Columbia College to support you, and then ensuring that you're ready to begin classes on September 7th. So as I mentioned, orientation for students in our secondary program, so grades 10, 11, and 12, is slightly different. You will have an online orientation beginning September 1st, so it's slightly later than for the university students, but you will be contacted throughout August as well. There will be an in-person orientation at the Columbia College campus on Friday, September 3rd, but we will provide an alternative for those of you who haven't got your visa approval or haven't been able to travel yet. So the key dates for you to make a note of, so from August 13th, so just in next week, we will be providing you access to your Columbia College email account. This email account is important because it's how we'll communicate with you through the orientation process and the rest of your time at the college. So if you have paid your tuition deposit in full and have provided us with all the required documents that we've asked for, and confirmed that you plan to enroll in September, then we will email you with access to your college email and your Microsoft 365 account. Now, the key here is you need to have paid your tuition deposit in full, provided documents, and confirmed your enrollment. The deadline to confirm your enrollment, Okay, I'm sorry, I skipped ahead a little bit. So from August 17th, you will connect with your dedicated student engagement ambassador, and we will go on into more detail about what the student engagement ambassador is here to help you with. They will contact you on your college email and on your Microsoft Teams account, but don't worry, we will provide all of the instructions on how to access these and use them when we contact you from August 13th. And our student engagement ambassadors are here to answer your questions and help you through the registration process and support you to be ready to begin your classes. And luckily, we have 2 student engagement ambassadors here to join us soon to talk about their role. So August 20th is the last day that you can confirm that you plan to register for the fall 2021 semester. So it's really important that you confirm your enrollment early so that we can start contacting you with your credentials and start helping you meet other students. The earlier you confirm your enrollment, the earlier we will start contacting you. Now, if you don't confirm your enrollment by August 13th, we will not be contacting you with your credentials at that point. We won't be able to contact you until you confirm your enrollment. So make sure you've done that so that we can send you all of the information that we have ready for you. Also on August 20th, we will be sending you information about our Columbia 101 module on Moodle. So Columbia 101 is a self-paced program that we've created to help you learn about all of the services that we offer at the college and help you get used to using Moodle, because this is what you'll be using for many of your classes. So from August 25th, we will be holding a wide range of information, welcome and registration sessions for you. These will include introductions to the services we provide, tips on how to succeed, how to look after yourself as a student, and fun social events for you to get to know other students. So you need to keep checking your Columbia College email account for information about these sessions. And it's important to note that attendance at these sessions is mandatory for your registration to be completed. And then, as I've mentioned before, the last day to register is Friday, September 3rd. So on September 7th, as I've mentioned many times, it's the first day of classes. We want you to be as ready as possible to begin classes, whether you are in Canada and able to attend in person or whether you're overseas. And your student engagement ambassador's role is to help make sure you're ready, whichever method of learning that you are doing, whether it's online or in person. So classes begin on September 7th. But everyone's allowed to change their mind. And if you pick a class and you're not sure you like it and you attend 1 or 2 classes, you can change your mind. There's a week to change your mind. So September 13th is the last day to change your classes or to change your schedule. And there's no refund for classes that are withdrawn or dropped at this date. So now we're going to move on and talk about our student engagement ambassadors. We call them Cs. So it would be great if Rosepreet and Sally can turn on their cameras. Hi, Sally. Hi, Rosepreet.
Hi, Rose.
Hello.
And I will leave it up to you two to talk about your role and the kind of things that you'll be helping students with.
Hi, my name is Sally Matasi, and I am one of the student engagement ambassadors. Go on, Rosepreet.
Hi, my name is Rosepreet, and I'm also one of the student engagement ambassadors.
So what we basically do, as Rose mentioned earlier, we will contact you on August 17th just to get you, welcome you and introduce ourselves in an email. We'll contact you on Microsoft Teams and also by email. What we do is we don't always help you. We don't help you just during orientation, but throughout the whole semester, we'll be there to help you and guide you through every step of the way with registration. If you need help buying textbooks, we also give a little bit of advice alongside the counselors to help you on picking courses. We made recommendations because we were students there and we also have taken some courses. We help you in trying to buy textbooks. So we also organize weekly events as well. So we have game nights, and also during orientation, we have those events just so you could get to meet other students in the college and get to know one another.
And to add on to what Sally said, student engagement ambassadors will be your first point of contact throughout your first semester here. So if you face any problem, you need any help, you can always send them a message on Teams. And as student engagement ambassadors, we will also create a group on Teams for the students that we are assigned to. This is just to promote communications between students and to help them feel more welcomed and to make sure that they know that there are other students that need help too.
Thank you both. And I mentioned earlier that we have a whole group of Cs. So it's likely that it won't be Sally or Rosepreet helping you, but one of our other students. We do have a team of 8. So you will be allocated one specific C who will be able to help you. Thank you, Sally and Rosepreet. So we know there was a really great session about travel last week. We hope that you all attended. If you still need information, please refer back to that session. But one important thing I wanted to mention today is that if you are planning to travel during or after orientation, you still need to complete all of the steps and attend the relevant sessions before September 3rd. So you can still do your orientation and your registration from your home country or where you are right now. You don't need to be in Canada to do your orientation. And in fact, the earlier that you do your orientation and register will give you more time to prepare for classes, and then you can focus on your travel rather than worrying about what you're going to do once you get here. So please remember to complete as many steps as possible before you travel. So any student who's registering in a university level math, econ, and most computer science courses are required to take our math placement test, which we call the MPT. I believe some of you will have taken it already, which is great news because that means that you'll be ready to register right at the beginning. The reason that you need to take this test is because we need to understand your math placement so that we know which classes are good for you to take so that you are not taking classes that are too challenging for you. An important thing to remember about the math placement test is that it's not a pass or fail test. It's just to gauge your level. And it's, like I said, to make sure you're in the most suitable classes for you. So if you haven't already, I know some of you have already taken it, but if you haven't, you will be contacted by a member of our admissions team about scheduling a date and time for your MPT. Okay, so here's a quick rundown of the registration requirements. So firstly, if you haven't already, you need to pay your tuition deposit in full. You need to provide all of the documents that have been requested, and then you need to make sure that you have confirmed your enrollment. You need to take the math placement test. As I mentioned, this is just to make sure that we have your right math level, and it's just for university level students. You need to complete the Columbia 101 Moodle module, and you need to attend your orientation and information meetings. And I understand this may seem like a lot of information and a lot of steps you need to go through, but we will guide you through each step of the way. We have a team of people here who will be communicating with you on an almost daily basis over the orientation period to make sure you have everything that you need. If you have any questions or you need any help about orientation, registration, or just being a student at Columbia College, please email us. So our email address is studentservices@columbiacollege.ca, and we're happy to answer any question. No question is too big or too small for us. Like I said, we have a team of people here who are happy to help you. We may refer you to somebody else for help, or we may need to answer ourselves, and we promise we'll get back to you as quickly as we can during working hours. Okay, so I will hand over to Carolina to moderate our live Q&A.
Thank you, Rose. I just want to remind everyone the chat is now open. So if you're not seeing it, please refresh your browser and you'll be able to see it. But I want to encourage everyone to ask your questions. We're going to have our full panel here to answer them. This is your time. Ask any question you have regarding anything that Rose spoke, or if we didn't mention something that you're curious about, please ask in the chat. I want to reintroduce our panel. So we have Rose here already, Rosepreet, Sally Matasay, and Nav. Nav hasn't made an appearance yet, so I want to introduce him to everyone as well. He's our student life coordinator here at Columbia College.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Let me just see. Okay, so the first question is how to fill the Columbia Module 101.
Nav, do you want to go through that one?
Yes. So every single new student will be added to that module, and you will be given instructions on how to log in. And there will be more instructions in the module itself that will help you understand how Moodle works, which is the whole point of the module, basically.
May I interject?
Yeah, go for it.
You still have an issue logging onto your Moodle. Your Cs are also there to help you out. So we can send you screenshots and show you how to log in.
Yes, don't be shy to ask questions. That's why everyone is here to help make this transition super smooth for you. I think we have another question. Okay, so this student is coming to Canada on September 2nd. Can they register for the September 3rd orientation? Do they need to register? Are they automatically register? How does that work?
It depends. So it may be a high school student asking, because I mentioned September 3rd as the in-person time session for high school students. So if you're a high school student, you will be contacted by our dedicated secondary team who will be walking you through the orientation process, and they'll be able to give you the information about that September 3rd in-person orientation, and it really depends on many things around travel and vaccinations and quarantine and isolation processes. So it will be unique to each student when they can start joining in things this time. If it's a university level student, then you can do your orientation online before you travel, and then when you arrive and are able to come to campus, we will be able to welcome you and give you a campus tour and that kind of thing once you are ready to leave your accommodation.
Thank you, Rose. I see that we have lots of questions regarding the MPT. So I'll put some of them together. So first of all is, what exactly is the MPT, and are all students required to take the MPT?
Good question. So the MPT, the math placement test, is our diagnostic test to determine your level of math. So it ranges, we have 2 different tests depending on your high school level of math, and there's between 30 and 40 questions on each test, and they start off quite straightforward and they get harder, and like I mentioned, it's a diagnostic test, so it's to determine your level, and the reason that we do this test is because we don't want students to end up taking math courses or computer science or econ courses that are too hard for them and failing them. We want you to be successful. So that's why we work really hard to make sure we have your correct math placement, so that you're taking the classes that are best suited to your ability. As I mentioned, it's not a pass or fail test. So whatever your score, that's your placement. It's not, you haven't failed anything. And every university level student is required to take it, because most of you will need to take a course that involves math for your program. Now, the other thing to note is that if you are not happy with your math placement score for the first time you take it, you are able to retake the math placement test 12 weeks into your first semester. So if you take the test, you're not happy with your score and you think you could place higher, then that's okay. You don't need to take math in your first semester. You can take it at a later date after retaking the MPT. So if you find yourself in a situation where you didn't perform as well as you think you could have, just let us know and we can help you with alternative classes to take, and then talk to you later in the semester about retaking the MPT.
Thank you, Rose. We have one question about the enrollment confirmation form. If you mind if I answer that one. One student's asking if he can confirm his enrollment even though he doesn't have a visa yet, and he hasn't applied for a visa. So once you're filling the form, you'll see that if you do not have applied for a visa, it won't let you go through. So you're not able to fill the form until you have applied for your visa. Let's see, there's lots of questions coming in. That's exciting. I think maybe the students or Nav will be able to answer this. Do we have a Columbia College app for students?
Yes, we do have one. It's called the Columbia College Safe app. It can be found on both App Store and Google Store.
Perfect. And then can they defer their intake after orientation?
So once you have confirmed your enrollment and you've completed the registration of your classes, it will not be possible to defer. So if you want to defer, that's a decision that you need to be making before August 20th. Now, because we have different students who originally applied for different intakes, there's different deferral policies depending on when you first applied to the college and when you were expected to join us. So if you have questions about deferring, please speak to your admissions officer or someone in the admissions department, and they will be able to explain the deferral policy for you for your specific situation. But just to emphasize what I said in the beginning of my answer to this question, once you have been through orientation and registered for your classes, it is then too late to defer.
We have lots of questions regarding travel letter. So Rose, can you just quickly go through if they need a travel letter, if they want more information about traveling in Canada, where should they refer to?
Yep. So yes, we are happy to provide travel letters. We need to know your travel plans as soon as possible so that we have time to respond and make sure that you have the right document for your travels. So we do have a travel form on our website. So you can find that by clicking on the COVID banner at the top of the website, and that will take you through all of the travel information that we have. We did have an hour-long session on travel last week, so I would recommend that you go back to our YouTube channel and take a look at that, because I know we had all of the experts on travel there answering your questions. So please do look at that if you still have questions. But yes, in summary, we are happy to provide travel letters, but we need to know as early as possible when you're planning to travel.
Thank you, Rose. I have a student, I sense they're not a big fan of math because they ask if they can drop the math course.
So you can't get out of taking the math placement test. Everyone needs to take the math placement test. But you do not need to take math in your first semester at the college. And then depending on your program, you may not need to take math, but most programs do require a math component. And if not math, computer science, and computer science also requires you to take the MPT. So you do still need to take the test, and then we can work with you on, depending on what your placement is, but we can work with you to help you pick classes that are suitable for you and that we think you will succeed in. But maybe Sally or Roseberry can help reassure students about taking math on the MPT.
For MPT, there's also a study guide available on the college website. So if you're really scared about the test, you can use that study guide. It's there for both MPT1 and MPT2. But again, it's not something that you should be scared of. It's just to determine your math placement level.
Yeah, it's just basic like algebra and all that. I know math is really hard, but this is not like the really difficult math. We're just trying to test and see which math class we can place you in. So it's really nothing to be too worried about.
Thank you. I hope that the student that asked this question is a little bit more relaxed and confident in terms of the math. But going from that, maybe Sally and Roseberry, you can talk a little bit about, there's quite a bit of questions regarding classes. I know some students might be very nervous about starting the new semester. What would be one of your tips for students that are a little bit scared of the first semester?
So, as your student engagement ambassadors will help you, they will go over all of this for you when they start contacting you. But I guess for the first day of classes, all I'd say is check all the platforms that your student engagement ambassadors tell you to check. And as long as you can keep up with them, if you have any problem, just contact your student engagement ambassadors. And Sally, is there anything you'd like to add on?
Also, there's the first week of classes, you have the option of attending the first class and the second class, and if it's a good fit for you. If it's not a good fit, you do have an option of switching to another class. You can ask recommendation from some of you may have friends that are already studying there. You can ask recommendations from them, but it's gonna be okay. You'll have the first week to try it out. If you like it, you'd stay. If you don't like it, then you can have an option of switching to another class.
Thank you. Oh yeah, go ahead, Rosepreet.
Sorry. And your instructors will mostly contact you on Moodle. They'll carry out classes on Moodle. Your syllabus will be on Moodle, but some of them might choose to put it on your student portal, but your classes will be through Zoom.
Thank you. Rose, we have quite a lot of questions regarding deferment. I know Chelsea mentioned that on our last session, but if you can quickly just touch base. So if for all the students watching this, please pay attention. This is very important because I see we have quite a lot of questions regarding deferment.
Okay, so I understand. I've heard lots of students say they're very concerned because they haven't received their visas yet, or they haven't heard back about their application. And we understand that it's a very difficult time for you because you don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen either. So we are here for you and we will answer your questions as best we can. Like I mentioned before, it's different for different students depending on when your original entrance semester was supposed to be. So I can't give a blanket answer about deferring because it may not be the correct answer for all of you. If you are considering deferring, it's something you need to be thinking about right now, because as we've said, the deadline to confirm that you plan to enroll is August 20th. Now, we know from an immigration perspective that you can begin studying online without your study permit approval until December 31st, and your future immigration status or applications will not be affected by this. So if you have submitted your study permit application and it's just in the backlog of applications in the system at the moment, but it will be approved at some point in the next 4 months, then you can still begin studying online from your home country, and that time will still count towards your future immigration application eligibility. So studying from September without your study permit approved won't affect your future work permit eligibility if that's the immigration pathway that you choose to take. So we understand it is concerning, but we do have the system in place for you to begin studying online from your home country. So we'll have online classes still. We have the infrastructure for delivering online classes, and then we'll be able to welcome you when you can travel later on in the fall semester or in December. As I mentioned, once you have completed your orientation and registration, it is then too late to defer. So that's why you need to start thinking now. But in summary, as I mentioned, every student is in a slightly different situation. So I can't give a blanket answer about whether you can defer or not, when you can defer or not. So you really need to contact admissions to confirm that.
Thank you, Rose. Just a reminder for everyone in the chat, please only ask your question once, otherwise it gets really hard to find your question among everything. And keep the chat only for questions. I know you are so excited and you're talking to your friends on the chat, but it gets really hard for us to filter the questions like this, and we want to make sure we answer all of your questions today. We have one question about traveling, that can they start online if they're traveling between classes? And if they arrive here, no, answer that first and then I'll go to the other part, otherwise we'll get too complex.
Yeah, okay. I think I've got it. If a student is planning to travel after classes have begun, so in September, early October, or throughout the semester, yes, you should register for classes that are online. You should not register for in-person classes, because you will obviously miss too much class if you're planning to travel after they've begun. So we have in-person classes, online fixed schedule classes, and we also have flex classes, which are classes that don't have a set meeting time but have tasks and assignments for you to complete throughout the semester. So if you know you will not be in Canada on September 7th, you should register in online classes, so either fixed synchronous classes or flex classes that you can start attending from your home country. Now, if you travel during the semester, when you arrive in Canada, you will just pick up those online classes. You'll just keep taking them for the rest of the semester. You don't need to, you won't need to make any changes to your schedule or anything like that. Obviously, if you're taking classes online, you won't then be having in-person classes during the semester. So you'll need to keep studying in your home, but you will obviously be welcome onto campus to meet all of us and get to know other people. One thing that you will need to consider is the length of time that it takes you to travel and whether that will be disruptive to the classes that you are registered in. So our top tip there is to make sure that you communicate with your instructors. If you're planning to travel and you need to take a few days out, your instructors will be understanding of that, but you need to communicate with them early. They may have planned quizzes or assignments due at that time, so you need to make sure that you keep them up to date with your travel plans so that they can support you and make sure that you don't miss any important assignments.
Thank you, Rose. So we have some questions. I don't know who can answer that, but I think the main question that we got quite a few times is, what is Moodle?
I'll take that one. Moodle is an online platform that we use to deliver classes. Most instructors, if not all, use Moodle. Think of it as your classroom, but where you have your instructor, you have other students present in there, but everything is online. So you will have access to your notes on there. You will have links to your to join classes from there itself. Your assignments can be submitted on there. Your grades can be displayed on there. So basically, it's where your classes are going to be. I hope this helps.
Thank you, Nav. So we have a lot of questions again about traveling, and some students are concerned if they can travel between August. And if that is too early. Rose, do you mind just briefly mentioning that?
No, of course not. So we have received information from IRCC and CBSA, the Canada Border Services Agency, that students can travel around 3 to 4 weeks before their classes begin. So traveling in August anytime from now is fine. When you reach the Canadian border, they may ask you questions about when your studies begin, and what your plans are in the time between now and when your studies begin. So you would just need to explain that you need to do your orientation, you need to open your bank account, get your social insurance number, all of the things that are important to beginning your new life in Canada. And or maybe finding a place to live, getting familiar with the local area. So they have told us that 3 to 4 weeks is an acceptable time to come. So any time from the end of this week is okay for you to travel.
Thank you, Rose. Are students that are minors allowed to travel to Canada if they do not have the vaccine?
They are allowed to travel. I'm afraid I don't know about the specific requirements for minors in terms of self-isolation and quarantine. I don't know, Carolina, if that was covered in the session last week. I can't remember. So refer back to that session, but also shoot us an email if you have questions specific about your situation, and we can pass that on to the right people.
Thank you, Rose. Just to remind everyone, if you have specific questions regarding travel, vaccination, anything related to COVID, last Wednesday, we hosted a town hall forum called Town Hall Traveling to Canada. So please refer to that video. It's on our YouTube channel. And we had Chelsea, our recruitment manager, and we had Claire, one of our nurses here at CC, and they answered everyone's questions regarding vaccines, traveling to Canada. So please refer to that video. And if your question was not answered on that video, please feel free to email us and we'll be happy to help you. One student said that their friend got an email regarding a campus tour, but they haven't. So when should they expect emails regarding, I believe, orientation?
So given that they will be starting in fall, we will have in-campus tours for fall 2021 students. They will get this information later during August. At the moment, we're still working out the logistics a little bit for that. And the tours that are happening right now are for students who started since the pandemic started until May 2021. So it's not really for 2021 students.
Thank you, Nav. I see there's 2 students that have been sending the same question, asking if they can travel before orientation. Rose, I know you just answered that, but if you can just mention again, what's the timeline that they're allowed to travel before the classes start?
Absolutely. So the recommended travel, the recommended time to arrive early is no earlier than 3 to 4 weeks. So if you're planning to travel at the end of this week or next week, then you will be fine. You will be allowed to enter Canada, and you don't need to worry about that being too early. So any time after today really is not too early. So don't worry about that. You can travel during the break.
Thank you, Rose. Let's see, there's lots of questions. Please be patient. I'm trying to get through them all. So we covered quite a bit about traveling, online classes, about MPT. There's a few questions about direct or indirect flights. I'm assuming the student is from one of the banned countries. We did cover that last session. So Claire and Chelsea talked about that in detail. So I would recommend you to go through to our other video if you want detailed information about traveling, flights that are direct, if you can get your vaccine once you're in Canada. Someone asked, what is the LAP program?
That's a good question. The LAP program. So LAP stands for Laptop Assistance Program. So any registered Columbia College is eligible to participate in the LAP program. So how the LAP works is that if students purchase an eligible laptop that meets the specifications that we have indicated, then we will give students $600 worth of tuition credit back to support them with the purchase of that laptop. However, that it's not, we don't give the cash back. It's that money goes into your student ledger, your student account, to be used for future tuition. So it's not a direct refund for purchasing a laptop, but it will support students later down the line with the cost of their studies. Some things, important things about the LAP is that the laptop needs to be purchased in Canada in Canadian dollars. So you do need to be here to be able to benefit from this program. And as I mentioned, we have quite specific criteria that the laptop needs to meet for you to be eligible to receive this tuition credit. So if you have any questions about the LAP, you can email us at Student Services and we will be able to answer them for you or refer you to our IT department who can help answer the questions.
We have one question regarding classes. This one specific is to computer science, but I think you're able to answer them kind of in a general way. So this is a very relative question. It says, is computer science course easy or not? So maybe you can talk a little bit about what they can expect of courses here at Columbia College, because I don't think we can answer for you if it's going to be easy for you or not. But I think Rosebreed, Sally, you can talk a little bit about how courses are, how can they succeed in those courses.
Yeah, I would say if you don't put effort in any of your courses, none of them are really easy. In order for it to be easy for you, you really have to make sure that you put in the enough amount of studying time that is required for it. But if you don't study really well, it's not going to be easy. So you got to make sure that you put in the effort.
And you can also make sure that if you have any questions, you can attend the office hours for your instructors. And we also have learning center here where we have tutors, so you can also meet them. And the tuition over there is free of cost.
I would also recommend that try it, give it a try. If you don't like it, maybe later on you can change it. Don't wait too long if you're thinking of changing. There's nothing wrong in trying. I came as a computer science student to Canada, but I later on changed, and my major now is accounting. Nothing wrong with changing. I tried it out. I didn't like it. I did enjoy it. Nothing wrong with that.
That's a great point to add, Nav, because I've also changed majors during my time at school here in Canada, and it's completely fine. Don't stress yourself out if you're not enjoying or if the exact program you chose is not what you thought it was, because it's always something you don't know until you start. So you can always change your courses.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add that from an immigration perspective, it's also okay to change your program. You don't need to worry about what's written on your study permit in the program field or what you applied for. If you start your registration process, if you're in the science program, we'll be running information sessions about the science program. And if you're sitting in that session and you think this might not be for me, that's okay. You can change your mind right at the beginning, or you can change after your first, second or third semester. So it's obviously better to change your program earlier rather than later, so you're not taking classes that won't count in a different program. But it's okay to change your program. Everyone changes their mind, and that's okay. And if you have any questions about changing your program, you can let us know as well.
And also, usually the courses that we recommend you take during your first semesters, you can transfer it to any program. So it wouldn't be a problem when you're trying to switch.
That's a great point. Yeah, the courses are transferable, so it's not like you'll miss a whole semester. So that's really good. We have a student that is from secondary, and they're arriving in Canada on September 1st, but they'll have to quarantine for 2 weeks. Does that mean that they'll have to miss the in-person orientation for secondary students?
Yes, unfortunately, they will, but we will have an online component. So as long as you have access to the internet, you'll be able to join in with the different orientation sessions that we have. And then once your quarantine is finished, we will be welcoming you onto campus, and we will have a makeup orientation for you, because you won't be the only student in this situation. So don't worry about missing out, and we'll make sure that you get this as good an orientation experience as possible. And with the secondary classes, that you will be able to attend online and then switch to in-person once your isolation is finished.
Rose, could you cover a little bit about registration? We do have some questions about how do they choose their courses at first? How can they register? When should they register by? So if you can cover a little bit of a summary of registration in general.
Of course, yeah. So so as part of orientation, we will be offering you information sessions about your program. So you'll be divided into, there'll be different streams. So depending on the kind of program you're in, we'll have information sessions for you where our academic advisors will talk to you about the different requirements for the program. Once you've attended that session, we will give you your registration date and time. And the registration date and time is based on when you took the MPT. So the earlier you take the MPT, the earlier you will be able to complete your registration. Now, in the information sessions, we talk about sample schedules and good classes for you to take depending on your concentration. And then when it comes to registration time, we will have our academic advisors in a Zoom meeting where you will be able to ask specific questions about something like, will this class be good for me? Should I take this class? I don't want to take this class. Can I take this class? We will be able to answer those questions live for you at the time of your registration, and also help you with any technical issues that you have. So registration will begin on August 25th. It won't be everybody's registration. It will just be for certain students who have taken the MPT early, and then we'll gradually work through different registration days depending on when you took the MPT. And so you will be emailed with an allocated registration date and time. Registration takes place online on the student portal, but as I just mentioned, we'll have academic advisors available live on Zoom to be able to answer your questions. We also have our student services email. So if you have questions, we will also be taking your questions by email and responding to those as quickly as we can.
Thank you, Rose. We have quite a few students that are expressing concerns about their visa, but just to add, we have an extremely high acceptance rate for visa, especially if you're from an SDS country. So I wouldn't worry about if your visa is arriving or not, especially if you sent all the correct documents. You will receive. It's just keep in mind things can still be a little bit delayed. A few questions about the entrance scholarship, if they can defer. Please email entrancescholarship@columbiacollege.ca if you have specific questions regarding your entrance scholarship, because they'll be able to provide you with more detailed information. Rose, what can they do if their visa got rejected? What's the next step?
So if the visa is refused, then I believe that is one of the situations where it is okay to defer. But as I've mentioned before, it depends on each student's specific situation. So if your visa is rejected, I recommend you contact your admissions officer or your contact in our admissions department as soon as possible so that they can provide you with the next steps. They will talk about deferral options or potentially refund options, but it really depends on each situation and the country that you're from, because different countries have different reasons for rejections or different approval rates. So it really depends on each student's unique situation. So if your visa is refused, please just reach out to your contact in admissions for advice.
Some students are asking about where to fill out the enrollment confirmation. So if you go to our website, right at the top, you have the COVID update tab. So if you click on there, you're going to see that we have linked the enrollment confirmation form for you. You can also go through new students orientation, and you'll see under that tab as well. And then please give some time after you fill out the enrollment confirmation form for our team to get back to you with more information. They'll contact you regarding scheduling your MPT. So please give some business days for that. Just a reminder as well that most of you are in countries where the time zone is different. So sometimes you email us at night in Canada. So that's why our team doesn't respond until about 1 to 2 business days because of the time zone. So please be patient. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. A question, is orientation mandatory?
Yes. Absolutely. The reason it's mandatory is because your registration is a big part of orientation, and making sure that you are ready for classes is one of the most important parts of orientation. So it is really important that you take part in every element that we have of orientation. It's also a really good opportunity for you to meet other students who are in the same situation as you, as well as working with more experienced students like Rosepreet and Sally, our Cs, who are here to help you. But during orientation, we also provide you with information about the services that we provide so that you know where to access help if you ever need it. So it is really important that you are attending and taking note of what kind of services we have so that if later down the line you need some help, you know where to come.
Thank you, Rose. And then just to add, I know mandatory is a scary word, but we promise the fun mandatory. Maybe Sally and Rosepreet, you can talk a little bit about what are the benefits, what did you find were the benefits of attending orientation? Because I know for me it was meeting people and making friends. That was the main thing. So what about yourselves?
For me, it was definitely meeting new students and making friends. And apart from that, I got a lot of information about other services, such as MSP, reading the schedule, how to use the student portal, and also career services at Columbia College.
For me, it was meeting people. There's usually activities that you do, like the host events. I really enjoyed that. Also, the food. When it was in person. And yeah, it just saves you from coming in on the first day and being so overwhelmed with everything going on. So if you attend orientation, everything is explained to you. Once you get there on your first day, you know where to go, it makes it easier for you to find things.
Thank you. So a lot of the questions we're receiving, again, we have answered them. Rose, maybe you can give specific context for if they have visa-related questions now, if they want to defer, who should they contact?
So if you don't have a specific contact in admissions that you've been working with already, or your agent or representative may have been working with, please email admissions@columbiacollege.ca, and they will pass your question on to the right person. I know it's frustrating, and as Carolina mentioned, because of the time difference, there may be a bit of a delay. So please don't keep emailing us. Please just email us once. if we just receive one email from every student, we're able to help quicker than if we receive multiple emails. When you do email, please put your full name and your Columbia College student ID number in the email, because that makes it easier for us to quickly look you up and look into your situation. So yes, I know it's frustrating that we can't give you all the answers to your questions right now, but like I keep saying, every student is in a different situation depending on when they applied, on their immigration status, on the country that they live in. So that's why I can't give you a specific answer, and it's really important that you contact us so that we can view your application and case as a whole to give you the right answer.
Thank you, Rose. Yes, the great email conversation. We always mention this, but do specify what you're asking on your email subject. It's always good to put your full name and student number also on the email subject, and then also on the body of the email. That way it makes it so much easier for us to respond to you on time. So please do that. It's also a great practice for you once you're already here, because that's probably how you're gonna email your instructors. So I think we've answered most of the questions already. I see most of them are repeated from people that are just joining us. But is there anything else, Rose, Rosepreet, Sally, and Nav, anything else you would want to add for students? I know it's a crazy time. They have lots of questions. You get nervous right before you travel, right before you start classes. So anything you want to add?
I would just like to add that we're here for you. We know that this is a really difficult time to be moving to Canada, starting in a new education institution. It's difficult anyway, even without a global pandemic. So we're here for you. Student Services is happy to answer your questions, no matter how big or how small. But one thing that I would like to remind you is to be patient with yourselves, because this is a big change for you. So be patient and acknowledge that there will be times when you will feel overwhelmed, but know to reach out for help if you need it. And then to also be patient with us, because we want to help you all as quickly as we can, but we work set hours in business days in Vancouver time. So we may not reply to you straight away, and we will reply to you as soon as we can. So patience is really important. And then I'm sure Rosepreet, Sally, and Nav can add something, but we're so excited about meeting you. We can't wait to welcome you onto campus and to be able to support you with this exciting journey that you're about to begin.
I'd just like to say that a tip to get to be able to survive through this transition would be to make sure that you check your emails through which you will be contacting Columbia College and your student engagement ambassadors, because the first steps that we send you will be through your Gmail account. So just make sure to check that and follow all the steps, and contact your student engagement ambassadors if you need any help.
To add on to what Rosepreet said, yes, it's really important that you check your emails, and you can once you get set up with your Microsoft 365, you can download the apps on your phone as well, so you could have it on the go. Make sure you just check it every day. And we are also, like, as Cs, we have also been students. We will share some similar experiences, so we would be here to help you every step of the way, so you don't have to worry too much. Anything you need, just let us know and we'll help you out.
I would also like to add that we have many specialized people in the office who work here, who are here to help you adapt, help you when you're having issues, whether it's career-related, mental health, wellness, academic advising. We have all these people here to help you out. So my tip would be, don't be shy to ask questions. Like Rose said, no question is too big or too small. We're here to help you. I was a student too, not too long ago. I know it can be hard, but we'll try our best to make your life as easy and smooth as possible into this transition.
Thank you all. So just a reminder, again, please check your emails daily, especially before traveling here, you want to make sure you have all the most recent information. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Columbia College 1936. We're posting any updates that we think it's important for you, as well as anytime we have a live session, we're always announcing it there as well. So please make sure to follow us and connect with us, make friends there. We're super excited to have you here with us, whether you're taking online classes or coming to campus. Thank you so much to our panel for joining us today this early morning. And thanks to all the students that joined the session. We wish you have a great day, evening, night, wherever you are in the world, and we look forward to having you this fall semester. Bye, everyone.